What's up, guys? JP here, and this is going to be the first review in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, and it is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper. It has a tagline of "Who will survive and what will be left of them?" Pretty cool tagline. I've always kind of liked that one. The story is pretty, simple story. Five friends go to visit their grandfather's old abandoned house, um, pretty much in the woods. They stray away from the house a little bit and they run into a crazy family of cannibals. Not so much, they don't really go into the cannibalism in the first film. But of course, one of the main members of the family being Leatherface, and that's pretty much the story. I mean, these kids are just it's a story that we've been using in film for a long time because it works. It's a story that everybody likes to see. Kids go into the woods, kids die. It's it's the perfect horror film. And this one probably did it. One is one of the best to do that. It did it great. Things that I liked about the film, pretty much everything. Like I said, this is my favorite horror film. The opening narration really sets the tone, and it's so iconic. And it's just, I know a lot of people will know what it is, even if they're not a huge horror fan. They probably have seen that somewhere before. Um, there's a lot of iconic things in this film, such as the dinner scene, the dinner table scene with the grandpa and stuff. That whole scene is just so chaotic, and it's the shot of Marilyn Burns' eye and stuff, or whatever. That is really creepy. It creeped me out as a kid. Other things that creep me out in this film: the hitchhiker scene when they first pick up the hitchhiker, and he's just right away you know that there's something up with this dude. He's not all there, and he's very creepy and weird. And then he decides to do some self-mutilation and cut his hand, and it's just terrified me as a kid. And even there's still even moments in this film where my heart starts going a little bit faster, because it's a terrifying film. The sound of the chainsaw, when there's a character running through the woods, and the sound of the chainsaw behind them is just, it's really terrifying. The chainsaw itself is just a really cool weapon that it's just so loud, and it's really, pretty intimidating and scary. Um, what else? The design of the house and stuff, all the little trinkets and ornaments made out of like skulls and um, uh, you know, bones and teeth and stuff. Really, really, really creepy there. I remember watching that for the first time. It was just so strange, and it seemed so real. People talk about how it almost has a documentary feel to it, and I would have to agree. It's really gritty, and everything that people say about this film, is true. It's a really amazing movie. Um, the scene with the in the dark, when Sally is pushing Franklin in the dark with the he's in a wheelchair, so she's pushing him through like the woods in the dark. The darkness is really dark. It's a an actual dark scene, and it just gives it that, more of that real, feel to it. It feels real. It looks how it would be if he was walking in the woods in the dark with only a flashlight. Um, and I think that's where people get that, documentary feel almost to the film. Um, the family, the characters are just insane. The hitchhiker is really well done. I think all the acting is pretty solid in this movie, for people who really didn't go on to do much else. I think Marilyn Burns, who plays Sally, kind of the lead girl, I think that her screams are some of the best screams in horror, in a horror film. She really nailed that, like, super scared, you know, for my life type scream, and it feels really genuine, and it makes it even the scene more chaotic with her screams and the you know, just everything that's going on. You got Franklin, who is kind of like that. You know, you kind of feel bad for the character. He's kind of not, you know, people look past him and don't really pay attention to him. He's in a wheelchair. He's constantly asking questions that get on people's nerves and stuff. Everybody knows somebody like that who just constantly asks questions that are really pointless to ask. Then you have the family, which is, you know, a great group of characters. You have the cook, who is completely, I think he's one of the more underrated characters in the, you know, first two films. Um, he's really mentally unstable, and he gets these looks in his face, where his personality's kind of changed, like really schizophrenic type of a character. And he's a really good addition to the family. You got the grandpa, who's just, you know, I think everybody when they first see it thinks it's a dead guy. Then you got Leatherface, of course, who is, you know, so iconic. You got the hitchhiker, who is, you know, it brings one of the biggest scares in the movie to me, when they first get into the van, the hitchhiker scene. You know, I've talked about that. Very, very creepy stuff there. A lot of great characters. I'm kind of going all over the place with this review, but I'm just trying to process all these thoughts that are coming into my head after I just finished watching it. Um, Another thing that I noticed watching it this time is I've noticed that a lot of films from like the 70s and earlier, um, you know, I feel like a lot of them kind of drag in places. You know, just the style of filmmaking back then is a little bit different to now, and it seems like, you know, there's a lot of scenes that just are slow. But this film to me is, I think it's paced really well. I don't really find any slow moments in it, and you know, when I say you know, 70s films are slow and stuff, it doesn't never really bother me. Um, you know, but I've showed older films to other people who are not, you know, big film fanatics or anything, and they have a hard time sitting through a lot of the older ones because they just say they're really slow. This one is not like that, in my opinion. I think it was paced really well. Everything, it feels like this film was like all the stars aligned, and it was just magically everything came together and works perfectly. Um, it's a great horror film. It really is a horror film. Um, it's like it's a scary movie. It's a film that I know a lot of people who've seen it when they was young. It absolutely terrified them, and I think it still works today. I've showed this to my little cousins and stuff who are, you know, I don't even know how, 10 years old or something, and you know, it still is a scary movie, and I think it'll continue to scare people from now until forever, hopefully. Um, so yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't really know what else to say about it. Hopefully this review wasn't, you know, repeats of stuff you already heard. Um, I still remember watching this film for the first time, renting it with Phantasm back when I was, you know, really young at my local video store, bringing it home, and that was one of the scarier moments in all of my watching history, because Phantasm creeped me the hell out, and then Chainsaw creeped me the hell out too. So yeah, you know, I shouldn't even have to say this. This is a 5 out of 5 film. If you have never seen this film, you just have to. It's so worth it. It's my favorite horror film, and it's a lot of other people's favorite horror films too. So yeah, that's it, guys. See you guys in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.